Hey guys, Amy here. I just wanted to check in with everyone midweek. I'll do this every single week, usually after your first discussion deadline, either Thursday or Friday, depending what the content for that actual week would be. So I'm just going to go over a couple of things that I want to make sure I point out to you all and also give you guys some feedback on the discussion postings that you've done so far this week. Um, don't forget to check out the Reading Matrix instructions video that I posted on Tuesday. I've had some questions about how to fill out the reading matrices, and so this will kind of walk you through that process step by step. Also, don't forget that you have to post your comments on the discussion by midnight on Friday. And then you have the remainder of your week one tasks to complete, most of which are due Sunday night, including your reading matrices for this week. Also, don't forget to take the syllabus quiz, which isn't due until next week. Let's jump right into the discussions. I thought you guys had some really insightful things to say. I also really appreciated getting to know all of you in the student introductions discussion this week. I hope the rest of you will keep up that good work as you continue to introduce yourselves to one another over the course of the first couple weeks here. Let's go right into the multiple intelligences activity. I did see a lot of really good discourse going on, back and forth discussion, especially since there are several of you who have posted your comments already, so that was really nice to see. I did put a post up here earlier this week, I believe it was Wednesday, because I had noticed just skimming through that most of you guys did test high in the social area. Some of you didn't, but by and large, the vast majority of the class had the social type of intelligence ranking among their top three. And so I just thought that was kind of interesting, considering the fact that this is an online class and the social interaction sometimes is what suffers when you fail to meet face to face. And so I would like to really emphasize that and have all of us try to be cognizant and active as we work to build social relationships with each other, because that will certainly increase our satisfaction with the course as well as our overall ability to succeed. I want to just point out a few of the highlights that I noticed. There were some really thoughtful things that you guys said about ways that you could use your strengths to your advantage in the classes that you're taking this semester. So I went ahead and pulled out some quotes of things that I thought you guys said that were particularly insightful. And this first one here ties into what I was just saying about the idea of how can we bring in the social aspect into the online environment a little bit more. So I read one of you had written, "I think I can further develop social strengths in this class by offering constructive thoughts when it comes to peer grading." And that is a really, really good idea, a really thoughtful example of where you will be interacting with your peers and learning from them in a more social way, despite the fact that this is a class that takes place in the online environment. So I really appreciated that application of the different strategies to the actual content of this course, which does include peer review as a major part of that writing process. I also noticed that several of you had high scores in the musical intelligence area, and so I thought you also had some particularly good strategies for how you were going to use that strength to your advantage. I know it's challenging looking to this quote here when sometimes your teachers don't always demonstrate that they are receptive to tapping into these kinds of strategies. You know, we have some more traditional teachers on this campus. We have some more progressive teachers on this campus. And I would hope that most of them would start to open their minds to this kind of proactive thinking about how students can be more successful. I know that it is supported by research, and so I would encourage you, if you do feel like this is something that would really help you, go to your teachers. You might not know what their attitude would be, or maybe they've never thought about letting their students listen to music before. And so even if you've maybe had a bad experience in the past, it doesn't hurt to ask your teachers, especially if you know it's something that helps you, and if you can point to maybe some research that does show that these kinds of strengths can work to our advantage as students and learners. And then the other thing I would suggest is that maybe if you are interested in this topic, you could save this idea for a potential research idea for your argumentative project that you're going to do later in the semester. You know, maybe you want to make an argument that students should be allowed to listen to music during tests and other assessments or something like that. And then this one here I just thought was kind of cute, or maybe cute isn't the right word, but I thought it was sweet because it's kind of treating the songs that this student has come up with as a memory strategy almost as like an old friend, because it says they've really helped me get as far as I am. And the thought that just a song or a strategy, a learning strategy, could do that for you is I think really powerful. I also noticed several of you had high scores in the spatial realm and some particularly strong ideas for how to tap into that, as well as strengths in the verbal realm. And I really liked what this comment said about labeling things and associating that with body parts in a biology class to tap into that kind of recognition and intelligence and remember the content for one of their discipline courses. And then here, I mean, we tend to think of technology as sometimes being a distraction from our learning, but in fact, it can actually be a great asset to us. And so even if it feels like you're playing a game, you're engaging your brain, and that can be a good way to learn, even just in your downtime or your free time, like this writer says, which has helped her improve her vocabulary. So I thought that was also really insightful. I also wanted to point out, because some of you have commented on each other's work, that you guys are doing a really good job, especially for this first discussion, kind of extending things and making it a conversation between you and your peers with your comments. And so I pulled out a couple examples of that. Good comments do a couple of things. They can either make a statement that builds on what the original writer said or offers a different perspective than what the original writer has said, or they ask a question that would extend the conversation in a different direction. And so here, you know, we can see a statement where this writer is comparing or contrasting themselves to the original, providing some personal examples, and then asking a question. Can you give me some advice from your experience that would help me become better? And I think that's really important as we collaborate and try to build those social relationships in the online environment. And here's another good example of a question. I think maybe, you know, sometimes we may think we've hit the nail right on the head, but we could go a little bit more in depth. And so anytime you can kind of probe your classmates to really develop their thoughts further, which is what I see happening in this question, that's always going to extend the conversation in a positive way. So how can your ability to play music help you with your goal and success as a student? So this writer has said that they do have an ability to play music, and I really like that the comment here asks them to then extend that to their success as a student. And then this is a good example of a comment that doesn't ask a question, but it adds something to what the original has said. And it doesn't repeat what the original has said, but instead it builds on it. So this writer's talking about the idea that our culture tends to forget that the workplace is a space for learning, not just like a daily grind or a day-to-day activity, as this writer says. And then as social learners, we can reap huge rewards from learning from those with whom we work, because you usually are already in a place at work where ideas happen and people can enrich that. And so that's a really powerful insight, I think. You know, in the workplace, we're always asked to collaborate with others, and so collaborating with your peers in this class is a good exercise in modeling that and getting some practice for what you're inevitably going to have to do when you get into the workplace. And so these are the kinds of comments that I'm looking for as I'm, you know, dropping into the discussion and seeing how things are coming along, and then ultimately grading you at the end of the week. All right, well, I like to keep these updates, you know, under 10 minutes or so that you can get on with your work. However, I do want you to feel free to contact me if you have any questions about anything, and I will be sure to check in with you guys again at the end of the week once you've completed your work and I've had a chance to review it, and I can get you some feedback on that. All right, well, keep up the great work. You all have been doing awesome this week, and it's been great getting to know you. So I look forward to working with you in the upcoming weeks. Thank you.